Hello, welcome in or welcome back to the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber. Thank you so much for being here. I am absolutely thrilled to have you. Now today's reading is going to be a whatever comes out reading. Now if you're new to my channel, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, but let me explain how I work a little bit. So before my readings, I always cleanse my space with the singing bowl. I use Palo Santo and then meditate. And I meditate to give me a baseline reading, a baseline of what the reading will be about. There's usually some really significant information that comes through within my meditations. And today's meditation, though, was confusing for me. The only thing I really got out of it was that there was a collective out there that has repressed emotions. Now, there could be many forms of repressed emotions. There was no real solidity within my meditation, no real specifics. All I got was that there's a collective with repressed emotions and spiritually repressed emotions and a lack of expression. I don't really know the details about this yet. I think we're gonna have to just get into the reading, but let me tell you what happened within my meditation first. So the first thing I see when I drop in is a closet, an empty closet, and there is a rack and hangers on the rack, but no clothes hanging from the hangers. It was an empty closet. The only thing in there were those hangers. Now, I looked up the symbolism of hangers, and there are a lot of different interpretations of what an empty hanger represents, but this is what made the most sense to me. Now, clothes. Clothes represent expression. It's how we express ourselves in the world. And if you're feeling really lazy one day, you're gonna wear a big comfy shirt like I'm wearing. If you're feeling really flamboyant, you'll get dressed up. There's fancy clothes, there's casual clothes. They're a form of expression, and the fact that there were no clothes hanging from the hangers means that there's a lack of expression. This to me feels like repressed emotions. Now, there's, like I said, a lot of different interpretations of empty clothes hangers, but another one is organization. Yeah, we used clothes hangers to organize our clothes. So this could symbolize a need for organization, or maybe you're seeking organization, or the removal of clutter, right? It cleans up your space. When you hang your clothes up, it organizes and cleans your space. So either the collective that resonates with this reading today will resonate with the need for organization, or the need to remove clutter in one's life, or you have repressed emotions. Now, the repressed emotions is what really stands out for me because I know what else happened in my meditation, and the repressed emotions theme was reoccurring. Now, the next thing I saw within my meditation, so I'm standing in front of the closet with the empty hangers, and then I get a touch on my left shoulder, and I look over and there is somebody in a panda costume, but it's very realistic. It's like a cartoon panda because the panda actually had facial expressions and real fur, but it didn't look like a panda. It looked like a mixture of the two, like a real panda, but panda costume at the same time. I'm not sure how to describe it, but they were standing on two legs like a person and had arms like a person. But anyway, the panda tapped me on the left shoulder, and I looked over and the panda was smiling, and I knew that I needed to follow the panda. The panda took me out of the bedroom where the closet was. And mind you, this entire home was empty. There was nothing in it, no furniture, no personal items, nothing. It was an empty space. This panda takes me over to a small window, and hanging from the small window is a prism. The panda takes the prism down off the window. Now, the prism was shining light within the room, so there were little rainbows all over the place. And the panda takes the prism down, smiles, opens its mouth, and swallows the prism. Now, let's unpack this, or at least try to. This was very confusing for me. It was hard for me to decode this meditation, but pandas are known for being very silly, very playful, very childlike animals. They have this adorable face, like just very innocent type of face, very gentle and innocent type of face. They're very silly, they roll around, they eat bamboo, they're just pretty much goofballs. Of course, they can be aggressive when pushed, but typically they're pretty docile animals. Now, the panda is also black and white is duality. Pandas, so this can represent equilibrium or needing equilibrium in your life. A balance, right? There's some kind of imbalanced and repressed emotions going on here. The pandas can also be point towards relationships and the emotional well-being of relationships, work, life, and home relationships. Now, the window that the panda brought me to was small. Now, windows are very symbolic in and of themselves. They are a barrier between two experiences. It separates two spaces, right? It separates you and protects you from the outside elements. It's a barrier, but it's a barrier that you can see through. So this to me feels like you're seeing things from the inside out, but perhaps you need to change perspectives and see things from the outside in. You know, take a different perspective. The one thing I keep going back to is that there's some kind of relationship that's out of balance, whether that's with a family member, a friend, or a romantic partner. This is what I'm feeling, but it's not solid for me. This was kind of a confusing meditation. Anyway, the window, it's a glass barrier, but it also allows light in. And that light that comes in, shone through the prism and created rainbows. So when light goes through a prism and the light diffracts and creates, it bends, right? It bends the light and creates these beautiful rainbows out of nothing. This is very spiritual, right? It's like a separate dimension. It's like something out of nothing, right? A different dimension, a different, how do I explain this? It's a bridge. It's a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realm. The rainbow is all the colors. That's diversity. It's spirituality. It's the chakras. There are 7 colors in the rainbow. 7 is a very spiritual number. It's all about expanding spiritually. So the fact that this panda, very childlike, playful, represents duality and equilibrium, takes down a prism and swallows it. The act of swallowing something is also a form of repression. You swallow your fears. You swallow your pride. You swallow, fill in the blank, right? So the fact that the panda, this childlike creature, swallowed the prism, which represents spirituality, this feels like repressed spirituality. Is there someone in your life that you feel like you can't be yourself around spiritually? You feel like you can't express yourself spiritually? There might be a lot of judgment there. Perhaps you have differing opinions spiritually or religiously, and this is causing a rift or a division between you and somebody that you love. So the next thing that, now you just take this all as it resonates and interpret as you see fit for you in your life. It's very important during a tarot reading like this for you to use your own discernment and intuition. But the panda swallows the prism and then asks me to follow it again. It never speaks, but I know that I need to follow the panda again. I follow the panda down a dark hallway, and there is a door at the end of the hallway. The Panda opens the door, and inside there is a garage. And it's a rather large garage, and when the panda turns on the light, the entire garage floor is gravestones. There must have been about 10 or 15 different gravestones all lined up, and they had what do you call them? They're gravestones, but they're the kind that stand upright, right? Classic gravesite. So that was a very interesting moment. And when I came out of meditation, I didn't really know how to interpret that. Now, graves are synonymous with death, obviously. Now, this could be an actual physical death that maybe you've experienced in your life, or this could be a symbolic death. Death is not always as dark as we initially want to interpret it. Death can be, it can represent evolution. It can represent letting go of the past. It can represent transition, transformation, rebirth. So let me just read you something that I found on a Dream Dictionary website about many gravestones, and maybe this will resonate with you. This is from spiritualradar.com. Dreaming of a graveyard with many graves. Walking through a graveyard with numerous graves can be overwhelming. The graves might be well organized or scattered. Now, they were well organized in my meditation. They were lined up right next to each other, and there was 2 rows of graves. A graveyard with many graves can symbolize a sense of being overwhelmed by past experiences or collective issues. It might indicate that you're dealing with multiple past challenges or emotions. There we go with repressed emotions, dealing with these emotions, past challenges. Spiritually, this dream could be urging you to focus on finding peace and resolution for these collective issues. It suggests that addressing and understanding these challenges can lead to personal and spiritual growth. Now, the panda, remember, swallowed the prism. That's spirituality, a bridge between the physical and the spiritual worlds. Now, these graves were lined up inside of a garage. So here's some more about organization and self-care. Remember the hangers? That was about organization too. And a garage is also symbolic of organization. Dreamyo.com states that the garage, the symbolism or dreaming about a garage can represent personal abilities and potential, but also organization and self-care. A garage can represent the need for organization and self-care. If the garage in your dream is cluttered or messy, it might symbolize areas of your life that require attention and decluttering, whether it's your physical space, mental state, or personal habits. It also goes on to say the garages are often used for storing old or unused items, making them symbolic of letting go of the past and embracing new beginnings. Dreaming about a garage might suggest that you are ready to embark on a new chapter in your life, or that you need to let go of old patterns and beliefs that are holding you back. Yeah, there's a few different ways to interpret this meditation, and that's kind of where I'm stuck here. And maybe because maybe the spirit is trying to appeal to a wider collective and doesn't want me to be specific about this. So the few things I got out of this was, here's scenario 1. Scenario 1, there's a rift between family members over a spiritual perspective. Perhaps you don't agree on religion or spiritual beliefs, And this has caused a rift in the family, which has caused you to repress your emotions to the point where you swallow your own spirituality, and this has caused some depression. And there's a need, perhaps this depression or repression of emotions, which leads to depression, has created disorganization in your life. Maybe you don't clean like you should or organize like you should, and your house is messy, and the hangers could represent being unorganized. Or we can pair this with maybe something from your past with the gravestones, something way in your past, maybe if somebody passed away even, but something far from your past has affected you or brought you a sort of trauma, and this trauma has been really hard for you to overcome, which has led to hoarding, cluttering, overconsumption, a shopaholic. Yeah, you'll just have to take it as it resonates. So I think it's time to get into the reading. Let's go. All right, let's get into the reading. Spirit, we're here to get an energy reading for the collective that resonates with my meditation. What do you have to tell the collective that resonates with that meditation? What kind of advice or wisdom do you have for us? Can we get 3 base cards, please? Yeah, clearly, I mean, I keep going back to the need for organization and then repressed emotions. Yeah, I feel like the collective that resonates with this reading is going to perhaps, be living in a really messy home that needs to be cleaned and organized. And the reason why it's so hard for you to keep your life organized and clean is because you have repressed emotions or trauma. And this repressed emotion and trauma could stem from, a spiritual repression, some kind of event that happened where you might have been shamed for your spiritual perspectives. That's what I'm getting. Now, I'm not sure with who, if this is family or romantic. I'm not sure. We're just going to have to see what Spirit has to say. All right, let's get 2 more shuffles, please. One more shuffle. Okay. This one on top. All right, Spirit, 3 base cards, please. New moon. That's a fresh start. That's setting new intentions. That's cleaning. Remember the garage in my meditation? One of the symbolic descriptions of the garage is needing a fresh start. Capricorn, karma, death, the grim reaper, Kronos, the god of time, death. There's the gravestones. Ooh, I just got chills. Fear, loss, death, elders, father, structure, form, limitation, duty, career, heights, falls, practicality, discipline, diligence, dry, cold, airy, skin and bones, teeth and legs, rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Kronos, the god of time, the grim reaper, old age, death, elders. Yeah, was there like some kind of disagreement within a family dynamic. Maybe a spiritual disagreement, a religious disagreement, and somebody might have passed away, and now there's a lot of regret around this because you didn't express yourself, or maybe like you didn't speak with this person and then they passed away, and now there's this regret, this trauma that's caused you to not take care of yourself and your home. Okay, what else? The 11th house, that's Aquarius's house, Capricorn, Saturn. Saturn is one of Aquarius's planets as well. The 11th house, that's about community, relationships. Social life, hopes and wishes. I feel like we should read this out of the booklet. Here we go. The 11th house corresponds to Aquarius and Uranus. This is the house of group interactions, community, friends, and social organizing, forming allies. Helps to mold a clear direction in life. Vision and goals for the future belong to this house. A supportive network of colleagues, friends, and associates. Community involvement, group interactions, and social engagement. The shadow side is social involvements that distract and lead one astray, lack of direction, and drifting without purpose. Lack of direction, drifting without purpose. You might feel a little bit like this, but perhaps Spirit is also encouraging you to express yourself with your community, with your friends, with your family, and ask for help if you need it. We'll get some more clarity. Yeah, the bright side is a supportive network of colleagues, friends, and associates. The shadow side is social involvements that distract and lead one astray, lack of direction, and drifting without purpose. Yeah, you might feel like you're drifting without purpose, and it's keeping you in a state of depression. Let's go to the terrible tile. Yeah, the first card out is the new moon. That's a new beginning, a fresh start. I think you need a fresh start from this. There's something that's been, I want to say, like piggybacking on your energy for a really long time. Some kind of repressed trauma that you've been holding on to for a really long time, and it has something to do with family, elders, fathers, structure. That's what I was getting. Yeah. And you might wonder too, you're like, why can't I keep my house clean? Why can't I keep things organized? Why is everything always a mess? You don't even realize that you're doing it. It's because it's like programmed. It's programmed from the trauma you experienced. Look, I split the deck and there's the death card. Death and the King of Vessels in reverse. Yeah, that's repressed spirituality. The King of Vessels is the King of Spirit, but it's in the reverse. Repressed spirituality. Yeah, you might have been shamed for like a difference in religious viewpoint. Okay, let's get a few more shuffles. Okay, last shuffle. Whew, that was some messy shuffle. A disorganized shuffle, huh? Yeah, I think Spirit is encouraging whoever resonates with this story that organizing your space would be a good first step. A good first step. Like, take that day, take that extra day, take a day off of work if you need to, and just clean your house, clean it from top to bottom, organize everything, get rid of the clutter. I think that's going to be a really good first step because, you know, our environment is a reflection of our internal. And when we organize our external, it helps organize our internal feng shui, right? Our environment does have an effect on our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being. Okay. All right, Spirit, what can you tell us about the new moon card and why it showed up here for this reading? Can you tell us about the new moon card? Why is it here? Why is the new moon card here? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Whoa. The moon in reverse. Repressed emotion. Whoa. Whew, I got chills. Look at the card that flipped out. The moon in reverse. The moon in the upright is about emotion. The moon in the reverse is repressed emotion. Fear. Repressed emotions and fear. It's also not trusting your intuition. Yeah, Spirit, why is the new moon card here? We get the moon in the reverse. Yeah, you gotta find out, you gotta figure out some way to let go of those emotions, to work through those emotions. Let's see what else we got. Wow, the Eight of Swords, trapped in your mind. Self-imposed prison. Look. There's a woman standing amongst 8 swords. She has a blindfold on and her wrists are bound, but the blindfold is loose and the ties around her wrists are also loose. She could free herself at any time, at any point, but she stays in this self-imposed prison out of fear of the unknown, fear of what she might see if she takes off the blindfold. Yeah, I feel like you might be afraid of your repressed emotions. Facing those emotions might mean like an emotional breakdown, like a total meltdown, a total spiritual mental meltdown. So you swallow it, right? So you stuff it down, you repress it, you keep it repressed because you don't want to face it, because facing it is way more scary than keeping it repressed. But Spirit wants you to release this. Release it somehow. Let's go to the Moonology. I want to get some advice on how you can release this repressed emotion. Spirit, can you tell us, or the collective that resonates with this reading, how they can best go about releasing these repressed emotions? How can the collective that resonates with this reading release their repressed emotions? and free themselves from this mental prison that they're in. The moon, water. It's the element of water. Emotion. Associated with Cancer. You might have Cancer in your chart. Or maybe you are dealing with a Cancer. Whoa! No way! Did you see that? This happened in my Aquarius reading. My Pluto and Aquarius reading. I split the deck and the same exact card fell out. I think you need to go watch that reading, the Pluto and Aquarius reading. This exact same thing happened in my last reading. Look, we've got forgiveness. Forgiveness. Holy shit. I asked Spirit, I said, how can the collective that resonates with this story release this repressed emotion? Forgiveness. Oh my God. Look. Forgiveness. That's how you can release this repressed emotion. You know what? Whoever you were dealing with that caused this trauma, look, cut your losses. Cut your losses. Holy shit. Wow. Whoever you were dealing with that caused this trauma, this deep-seated trauma, and I keep going back to like some family member, like a parent or something. Like a parent might have like shamed you or spoke down to you or treated you poorly in some way. Look what was behind the cut your losses card. The past. Oh my God. The past. Wow. Yeah, this was something that happened in your past, and this could be something from like way far, way in the past. The Capricorn. Capricorn is, the 10th house. The 10th house is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is Kronos, the god of time. It represents the past. Forgiveness. Yeah, whoever you were dealing with, and I feel like it's a parent. I feel like how you're going to move through this repressed emotion, this sadness of being trapped, is by forgiving them. Forgiving them for what they said to you. Remember the clothes hangers? One of the definitions I found at thedreammeaning.com is presence of many empty clothes hangers could point towards regret over things said. Yeah, I think some things were said. And this kind of created an imprint, a fingerprint on your auric being, on your soul. It created this imprint on you that hasn't been released yet. Let's read the forgiveness card out of the booklet. Wow. Full moon, forgiveness. How can the collective release this emotion? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. That's how. Full moon. Number 46. Forgiveness. You need to be more forgiving of someone, or maybe it's you that needs forgiveness. Either way, what you need to know when you draw this card is that whatever you want can come your way, but you have to move through forgiveness first. Resentment causes energetic blockages. Maybe you need to forgive a partner or a parent, and once you do, you'll magically release something that is currently blocking your way forward. The full moon is perfect for emotional releases. As all your emotions rise to the surface, all the better for you to face up to them. Forgiving someone doesn't mean that what happened is okay, but it does mean that you're ready to move on. Explore these ideas in relation to whatever you're asking about, or take them as a general guidance. The situation you're asking about will be healed for all once you've let go of rancor and bitterness. There are no guarantees as to the outcome, but forgiveness will be a step in the right direction. And either way, you will feel better. Additional meanings. Don't get too crazy. Release resistance. It's time to move on. This is the peak of your situation. And breathe through the drama. Life hardly gets any crazier than it does at a supercharged full moon. Get out under the moonbeams and soak it up. But remember to breathe through any emotional explosions. And look at that. It says you might need to forgive. It says maybe you need to forgive a partner or a parent. And once you do, you'll magically release something that is currently blocking your way forward. Yeah, this is how you're going to heal. This is how you're going to heal. It's so simple. The answer always is. It's always so simple. It's as simple as forgiving, but that takes a lot of cutting your losses, right? You can't hold resentment anymore. You have to just let bygones be bygones and recognize that everybody is on their own path, their own spiritual journey. And remember the window in my meditation, seeing things from a different perspective? In my meditation, I was on the inside looking out. And I think Spirit is encouraging you to step outside and look in. See things from a different perspective. Yeah, from their perspective. And try to feel what they might be feeling and why they might be, saying things that are hurtful. Yeah. Okay, let's read Cut Your Losses, Moon in Detriment. Number 66. Remember, I asked, how can the collective work through this repressed emotion? We get forgiveness and cut your losses. It would be absolutely lovely if life were nothing but rainbows and unicorns. Whoa, I saw rainbows in my meditation with the prism. It would be absolutely lovely if life were nothing but rainbows and unicorns, but after a certain age, say around 7 years old, we start to realize that there is always going to be light and dark. Drawing this card suggests that right now you might be going through a little bit more dark than light. You're not at your best, and it could be that the situation you're inquiring about is taking a toll on you and your vitality. You have two choices at this point. Either you keep going in the same direction you've been headed, in up to this point, or you do what it takes to cut your losses. In other words, it is possible for you to change track now. In other words, is it possible for you to change track now? Or are you absolutely committed to the actions you've been taking lately? You're not running on full power in this situation at the moment. So if you want to change that, you need to think about what it's going to take to strengthen your position. In your current situation, it's not easy to be spontaneous, and that can make everything feel rather tedious. Additional meanings. What's happening isn't your fault. Are you being too self-conscious? Do you need to look on the bright side a little bit more? Life goes in cycles, and you need to accept that this is a moment to do the necessary emotional work. The moon is said to be in detriment in the sign of Capricorn. Whoa, I didn't even put that together. Look, there's a ram on there, a goat. No. The moon is said to be in detriment in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is all about being strict and severe, and the moon is all about emotions. Together, they create tension. Wow. Capricorn here, Capricorn there. Yeah. Emotions. Emotions in Capricorn don't go to well at all. Capricorn is very cold and structured, discipline. Perhaps that's what your parent was like. Perhaps they were a Capricorn. Perhaps they were very rigid and structured, and you were very free and limitless, boundless, open-minded, and they were very much the opposite. That could definitely be true. And then the last card we got is Dark Moon, the past. This card is all about letting go of the past, learning from it, and moving forward, transformation. You see the snakes on there? That's transmutation, that's alchemy. The snake sheds its skin to transform, to become new. It's a sign of rebirth. Cut your losses, shed your skin. Yeah, you need to surrender this and let go, forgive. Maybe stop being so bitter and try to see things from their perspective. Okay, let's read Dark Moon. The past. Number 30. Dark Moon, the past. You're ready to leave something behind. Fear is stopping you from moving forward, but there's nothing to be scared of. Something in your past needs to be released. It could be a perceived failure, a relationship, a fear created by something that happened to you recently or a long time ago. Whatever it is, it's holding you back. An important decision needs to be made. The dark moon energies of this card are dark. As per the expression, it's darkest before the dawn. That's the darkness that we're talking about here. So when this card comes up, you're at a precipice of some kind. Either you fall back into the past, or you decide to call your energies back into you, so that you no longer have a part of your energetic body stuck in the past. The energy around you now holds the literally awesome power of the dark goddess, whom we are all taught to fear, but who in truth helps us to break with the past. Clear out negativity now to make space for something new and better. That's the message of this card. Additional meanings. Your dreams about the past are a clue to your situation. You are about to turn the corner at last. It's dark before the dawn. There's nothing to fear. And embrace your power. The dark moon comes at the end of the lunar cycle. It's not something you learn about in most astrology schools, but it's one of the most powerful moments in the lunar cycle. Pay attention when this card comes up. The definition, it starts off with, you're ready to leave something behind. Fear is stopping you from moving forward. That pairs perfectly with the Eight of Swords. It's a self-imposed prison. It's a mindset. The swords are the element of air. They represent air, and air is all about thought. Yeah, you fear letting this go because you feel like if you let it go, then you're like weak in some kind of way. Like if you let this go, if you forgive, it almost feels like you're giving up. Like you don't feel like they deserve your forgiveness. But, forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about you. It is about the other person, and it should be about both, honestly. But it should start with you. It's to help you heal. Forgiveness, like when you forgive and just let go and know that everybody is on their own path and they have a perspective that maybe you could never quite understand, and you just let that go, that is a huge relief. It's a huge burden that's lifted, and it helps you heal, which in turn helps your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being. It all will become better from forgiving. Wow. Beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to stick with the tarot volatile for now. Spirit, what else can you tell us about the Capricorn card and why it's here in this reading? What else about the Capricorn card? Thank you. Temperance. That's forgiveness. That's going Zen. Leaving it up to God. Going Zen. That is forgiveness. I mean, the Temperance card has an angel on it. It's God. Spirituality. Peacefulness. And the Temperance card, I mean, Aquarius is the water bearer, the angel. I'm getting a lot of Aquarius and Capricorn energy in this reading for sure. And if you don't already know, Capricorn, Pluto, the planet of death, destruction, chaos, upheaval, transformation, rebirth, Scorpio's planet has just moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And Pluto was in Capricorn for the last 16 years, since 2008. And I've been getting a lot of similarities between this reading and the Pluto and Aquarius reading. So I really think if you resonate with this story, you need to go watch that reading as well. The full moon card, the forgiveness card, did the exact same thing in that reading. Yeah, I think you need to go watch that. There's a lot of Aquarius and Capricorn energy in this reading. Okay, Spirit, what else? What else about the Capricorn card? Why is it here? Why is it here? What else? Thank you. The King of Coins. Look. That's a father figure. Look, he's got antlers. Whoa. Look. Like Capricorn. The ram, the goat. Yeah, was this a father? A father figure. A masculine. The King of Coins is the divine counterpart of the Queen of Coins, and the Queen of Coins is the mother of the tarot. Her and the Empress. The King of Coins is very fatherly, grounded. Plus, the coins are the earth element. Earth element, and that is Capricorn's element, earth. Wow. Yeah, this could be a father, a Capricorn father, or an earth sign, a father that's an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. We're getting a lot of earth energy here, but there needs to be forgiveness. Perhaps you're the Aquarius and they're the Capricorn, or, you know, the earth sign. And there needs to be some forgiveness here. Yeah. Letting things go. You know, if this parental figure is not already passed away, I got the gravestones in my meditation. If they're not already passed away, this symbolism of the gravestones is to put something to rest. There's something that needs to be put to rest. And forgiveness is how this is going to happen, and it's going to take you doing it. I have a feeling that if this person you're dealing with is an earth sign, remember, earth signs are the most stubborn. They're very, very stubborn, and I don't think, even if in their heart of hearts they want forgiveness and they want communication, they are so stubborn they will go the rest of their lives without saying something. You're gonna have to be the one to do it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That just fell out. Wow. The Tower and the Fool. An ending and a new beginning. That just fell right out of the deck. I was about to ask about the 11th house and why it's here, but then we get the Tower and the Fool. The Tower, that's absolute destruction. That's something burning to the ground so that you can build anew. And then here's the Fool, a fresh start, the first card in the tarot. That's an ending and a new beginning. Walking away from destruction. The Fool is very childlike energy, very optimistic. Yeah, it's like walking away from destruction. I think Spirit wants you to walk away. Look at this card. The Fool on this card is carrying a white flag. Do you see that? The white flag is all about, it represents surrender, peace. You raise the white flag. It's the end of the war. Look. The Fool in this card is carrying a white flag. Spirit wants you to forgive. Spirit wants you to forgive, cut your losses, and say something before it's too late. If this person is still alive, you need to make peace with this. And if this person is not still alive, you still need to make peace with this. You know, if they're not alive, if they're not still in this human incarnation, get a piece of paper and write down everything you would say to them if they were here alive. Our family members, like, nobody ever really dies. Their spirits go on, and you can access them. If they haven't, like, fully reincarnated yet, you can totally still communicate with them. But if they are still alive, Spirit wants you to surrender. Yeah, usually in the Fool, he's carrying like a knapsack. But not in this deck. In this deck, he's carrying a white flag. And there's a skull above his head. Death. Yeah, instead of the dog at his feet, like in the traditional Rider-Waite, there are cats at his feet. I love this deck. It's so different. It provides like more diverse interpretation of the card. Look at him too. He's got the blindfolds on. Just like the Eight of Swords here. I feel like this is you. Look, this is you. This is you. This is you. Spirit wants you to take a new beginning. Spirit wants you to let go of this. Spirit wants you to forgive and walk away from this destruction with more optimism in your heart. Forgiveness in your heart. Yeah, let me just get a couple of cards for the 11th house card here. 11th house, Aquarius's house. Aquarius is the humanitarian of the zodiac. It's a fixed air sign. Fixed air. Yeah, fixed air, Aquarius. And we've got the Eight of Swords. That's air, remember. And Aquarius is Aquarius, if you are an Aquarius watching this, Aquariuses are the humanitarians of the zodiac. They're always looking for ways to make the world a better place. And an Aquarius that's stuck in a state of bitterness is not a good place to be for an Aquarius. Your Aquariuses are so big-hearted. They're so emotional and big-hearted and loving people and communal people that staying in a state like this, it's no wonder your life has become cluttered and disorganized. It's no wonder if you haven't forgiven something or someone, that's going to deeply affect an Aquarius. Absolutely. All right, Spirit, why is the 11th house card here for this reading, please? Why is the 11th house card here? Why is the 11th house card here? Why is the 11th house card here? Thank you. Wow, the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. I think you deeply desire this new beginning with this person. You want a fresh start. Look. Look. The King of Coins holds the Ace of Coins. I really feel like this is a father figure. You're their baby. They'll always see you as their baby. And I think you might be so angry and upset at whatever happened that your world is just turned upside down, that you feel like you don't have a parent anymore. You feel like stuck. Yeah, stuck. Spirit, why? Why so stuck? Why is it so hard to let this go? Why has it been so hard to let this go? The Knight of Vessels. Wow. Okay, so in this deck, if you're new to my channel, this deck has an additional suit. It's got the suit of vessels, and the vessels represent spirit. The Knight of Vessels in this deck is a messenger. He delivers messages between the King and the Queen of Vessels. I see him as, you notice on this card too, he's got wings, right? He's like an angel, a messenger. I feel like Spirit is trying to intervene here. Spirit is trying to bring you a message. Spirit is trying to bring you a message that this person thinks about you. This person thinks about you a lot and loves you deeply. And is also holding on to resentment because your two perspectives, you know, when two people have different perspectives, one person will always think that they're right. The other person will think that they're right. And then you can't get anywhere. If you want to get somewhere, you have to cut your losses, let bygones be bygones, and let the other person have their own perspective while you have your own. And there are just some things that you can't talk about with certain people. That's how it is in my life as well. Like I have, you know, my parents are very, very strictly Christian religion, and I am very, very open-minded and embrace all religion. So there are things that I know I just can't talk about with them because it'll bring up an argument, a disagreement, a rift, bad feelings. So we just choose to not discuss that and love each other for who we are. And it took about 40 years to get to that point, but I think we've pretty much got there. They love me for who I am and I love them for who they are. And you know, the older I get, the more I actually try to see things from their perspective and adapt more Christian viewpoints. And I think that you can learn things from every perspective. Every viewpoint is valid and there's something to be learned there. Yes, but I think the Knight of Vessels is here to bring a message, between you and them that, you know, peace needs to happen. There needs to be a resolution here. Otherwise, this rift will create symptoms in your lives that will make life not as pleasant, not as pleasurable. Like the clutter in your house, the mess, lack of organization. You know, those kinds of things are just symptoms. They're not the problem itself. They're a symptom of the problem. Okay, let's get a few cards out of the symbols deck. I know this reading is getting very long, but I feel like it's really important. I feel like this is really, really important for both people to find a middle ground. All right, Spirit, any other words of advice or wisdom for the collective that resonates with this story, please? Yeah, the Tower and the Fool. You might have walked away from some kind of destruction. You thought that you were getting away from something, but now you keep looking back. You keep looking back and you're like, well, what if I did it this way? What if I approached it this way? What if I thought differently about it? What if I tried this? Like, you might go over scenarios in your mind of, you know, how it could have gone differently. But we can't change the past. We can only influence the future. And our past is there to teach us things. That's for sure. Yeah, perhaps this whole experience was put in place by Spirit to teach you how to forgive. Forgiveness is easy when, you know, two people agree on something. But forgiveness becomes a lot harder when one person is really stubborn and won't express themselves. But that, you know, that's where this lesson is so valuable for you, is when you can just forgive somebody and not expect anything in return. That's a beautiful life lesson. Okay, Spirit, what other words of advice or wisdom do you have for the collective that resonates with this story, please? Last shuffle. All right, what else for the collective that resonates with this story, please? Any other words of advice? New life. New life. The Ankh. New moon. Okay, what else? Thank you. Soulmate. That's integration. Look at the two hearts overlapping. A soulmate doesn't mean that it's a romantic partnership. A soulmate is just a deep connection, a deep soul connection. And you can have a soulmate connection with a parent. I think you both want this. I think you both want the forgiveness and resolution. In fact, I know it. I know you both want it, but one person is very, very stubborn and won't express themselves. And I feel like both of you aren't expressing yourselves, but one person probably won't ever express themselves. But just know that they feel the same way you do and they want resolution, and there is a lot of love there. All right. Thank you. Message. Whoa. Look, the message card came right on top of the Knight of Vessels, the messenger. Yeah, Spirit is bringing this message to you. Spirit wants you to find resolution here. Just tell them you love them, no matter what kind of perspective they have. Tell them that you love them. And try to see things from their perspective. Let them talk. Let them talk about it. And try to embrace it. Even if you don't believe in the same thing that they do. Just hear them out. And you never know, you might, something that's a perspective that they have, you might actually really resonate with if you just let them speak their mind. Okay. I want to get a final card out of the Pluto deck. Actually, I'm gonna use the Blind Spot Oracle. I never use this deck. I wouldn't say never, but I rarely use this deck. Okay, we're gonna use it. Spirit. Yeah, I think we're gonna just do the Blind Spot and skip the Pluto. That's what I'm feeling. Let's do it. Spirit, any final words of advice or wisdom for the collective that resonates with this story, please? Any final words of advice or wisdom? Any final words of advice or wisdom on how the collective that resonates with this story can get to a state of forgiveness and let things go? Okay, 2 more shuffles. Oh, this deck is huge. All right, any final words of advice or wisdom for the collective that resonates with this story, please? That goes there. There. One final card, please. Number 27. Sigil number 27. The bubble. Sigil number 27. The bubble. If you have drawn this sigil, you are stuck in a bubble in your current perspective. You are seeing only the truth of your perspective. As hard as it may be to accept, you are operating from a narcissistic viewpoint. Whoa. Remember the window in my meditation? Yep. You're stuck in a bubble in your current perspective. You are seeing only the truth of your perspective. As hard as it may be to accept, you are operating from a narcissistic viewpoint. Intimacy can be broken down into the 3-word phrase, into me see. First and foremost, intimacy is to see into another so as to deeply connect. But intimacy goes beyond just seeing someone. Intimacy is seeing into, feeling into, listening into, perceiving and understanding someone. To have genuine intimacy with someone, we have to be willing to commit to becoming an expert on them. It is to completely see their perspective. It is for them to completely see ours. It is tempting to think that a person can do without intimacy. The truth is, they can't. Without intimacy, we do not develop a sense of ourselves or a sense of our existence. We begin to feel as if we exist in a parallel reality. It is this parallel reality that is so deeply isolating and that causes us to feel like we are alone, no matter how many people might be around us. We are at risk of developing a bubble, which is a parallel reality. Anytime we do not experience people seeing us, feeling us, hearing us, or understanding us, we also risk developing a bubble anytime we refuse to see, feel, hear, or understand other people. It is in the developing of genuine connection that we can tear down the separation between these realities so that these realities can merge. One reality must begin to account for the other, and vice versa. Denial is like a veil that serves to divide the two realities. It is within our capacity to accommodate polarities that our consciousness will find true progression. If you have drawn this sigil in this circumstance, you will not be able to find any improvement until you expand wide enough to be able to accommodate other people's perspectives and realities. This means expanding wide enough to accommodate extremes and contradictions. But doing so is what enables us to see these contradictions and polarities as complementary. In the moment that we acknowledge a contradictory truth or state of being and expand wide enough to be able to hold both, we have disidentified with both extremes. We have ceased to become someone who can only hold the one or the other reality and become someone who can hold both. By holding both, instead of aspects of ourself being separated by them, we have created a state of integration or wholeness within our being. We can find the unifying factor between polarized perspectives. Time to get out of your limited and finite identity, as well as your limited and finite way of seeing things. Time to get out of your bubble. Beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I sincerely hope that this reading was helpful for you. And if it was, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you again in the next reading.